Okay, great. I got a go ahead from the organizers that I can start the session. So very good morning to one and all, and welcome to the third session of the career awareness organized by the Department of Economics and Xavier's College, Jaipur. So this session that we have organized, the main aim of this session is, to provide the career awareness, to know the career prospects for the various students who are studying in the for the economics background. So basically, during the sessions, the participants can learn about what are the prospects of the economics as a disciplines, what are the job opportunities that are available, what are the economics as a subject for the non-math students who are there. So this session will help students to better understand the various career options available for the economics background. So this is the main session that we have done, and this is the third session that we are doing. Earlier, we have done two short sessions on the Instagram, whereas to make the students aware about the subject, about the career and the job prospects for that. I'll introduce myself to the audience and to the speakers. So this is Shubham Saxena. I am an alumni of the Department of Economics and Xavier's College. It's been 4 years that I have been passed out, and since 4 years, I'll be working in a corporate sector. Right now, I am being placed with the analytics field with the PepsiCo Hyderabad. So that's me, and I would welcome our esteemed speakers for the sessions. I'd start with their great introductions. So starting with Ms. Sohini Bhattacharya. She is the Senior Manager of HR at Accenture. She has a great experience in HRBP various organizations during the corporate. Ms. Sohini Bhattacharya will be apprising us or will be acknowledging us about the how the corporate setup is being and how the economics is being going to help us in the corporate sector. Next, we have Ms. Asawari Savarikar. She's an educator by heart and economics mentor by profession. She's a co-founder and chief academics officer at Ecoholics. This is the largest online platform for the economics. She has been graduated in management stream from Mitibai College, Mumbai, and has a double master's qualifications in economics and Natya Shastra. She has also qualified UGC NET, MP Set, and she has a vivid experience of teaching and as an assistant professor of the economics. Last but not the least, we have Mr. Siddharth Rathore. He has working as an assistant professor in economics department at the Gargi College, University of Delhi. Again, he holds a master's degrees in economics from Delhi School of Economics and has recently completed his PGDM in artificial intelligence and machine learning from the University of Texas. He has been a visiting professor at LBSNA, where he trains IAS, IPS, IFS, and civil services probationary officers in their foundation courses. He has been an interview expert at Wajiram and Ravi Institute, and he has a YouTube enthusiast, and we have a channel, The Pink Professor. So the audience can look out to that YouTube channel for the Siddharth sir. So thank you so much, Sohini ma'am, Asawari ma'am, and Siddharth sir for joining the session. So, okay, let's start with the session, and I would start with a very simple question, and I'd start from the Siddharth sir as first question, which goes to you. Okay, so first, economics as a subject. So right after the school, when a student completes their 11th and 12th standard, they come to the graduation. Okay, so how is their perspective of economics as a subject when they choose any economics majors, or when they choose that, okay, I wanted to opt for an economics? So what is the mind of a student when he comes to a graduation as a first, as an economics when they deal in a measures?
Thank you, Shubham, and thank you, Xavier's College, for having me. Now, to this particular question that you asked, that a class 12 student, what should he expect from economics? What needs to be done? The first thing which I feel is mandatory is, and especially I'm talking from first with respect to Delhi University, and then with other aspects as well, other universities as well. You should be good at mathematics. So class 12th economics is not that mathematical in general. but you need a good formal training in mathematics. You need a good formal training in differentiation, integration. So these are areas a solid mathematical background would do really well in economics. And coming to Delhi University, a lot of your audience should know that you have, for the last 2 years, we have this CUET pattern for all central universities. And I have come across a number of parents whose wards have scored really well in all subjects in CUET as well, but they're not eligible for economics honors. It's because they haven't studied, they have done well in their CUET maths exam, but they have not studied mathematics in class 12 in their boards. So the first thing that you need to note, any student who's planning to have a career in economics, is that they should first have mathematics as an option, be it business mathematics, there are different flavors of mathematics that are offered, or be it the traditional mathematics that is there. Without that, you are not eligible for economics, a core economics honors degree in Delhi University, but you are eligible for another program called BA program. But that's the case with all the universities throughout the India. They typically prefer students with solid mathematics background. So you can't walk away from mathematics if you want a successful career in economics. Now, the other thing is that how does mathematics help? I've asked myself this question a lot of times that, to give you another example, why do IITians do well in any subject, in any area that they get into? It's because they have an analytical mind at IIT. They train for JEE, and then they train for in the 4 years of program. They are exposed to technical knowledge, and that kind of opens your arena, that opens your brain, and that opens that analytical side of your mind, and then you can apply that in multiple areas. In fact, I would like to bring it a little scientific logic to this, that there is this concept called as neuroplasticity. Now, neuroplasticity is basically it's a scientific concept which says that the brain is not static. The brain can expand just like plastic, but you need to push it harder. So I would urge all students to take mathematics, even if they don't have economics. It doesn't matter if you don't have economics, you can still do economics honors. In fact, what I've seen is science students, PCM students doing really well in economics as compared to a humanities student. So my first advice would be to train yourself in mathematics. There is no way out of it. And in any case, any career that you want after economics will invariably involve mathematics, be it masters, be it MBA, be it any career that you take after economics. It will have some kind of an analytical bent of mind. And that's the prerequisite. If someone asks me, economics mathematics is per se a prerequisite for economics rather than economics per se. But there is, just to end, is that there is another program that most universities offer, which is called as a BA program. Now this is a hybrid program in which you study two different combinations. There you don't need mathematics as a background, but still earlier, before the NEP, the gap between an economics honors program, a core program, and a BA program was quite high. The hiatus was huge. But now this gap has been reduced. So still, what we see is students with mathematical background do really well in economics. So this is my take for anyone looking into economics as a career option in graduation.
Great, sir. So, if I talk about the economics as an subject, so it is often seen that people, while they take about the PCM, they usually don't opt for an economics. They think that this will be an add-on for them. They wanted to go with a subject which is little lighter. They will say that, okay, there may be a little numerous principle that I have to grasp. There will be a lot of numerical things that I have to grab. So how does, if I can say that, how does a student, when they compare between, if you say that if mathematics is very important, then it's like economics, they will not take it as an main subject. They will like, okay, I have mathematics, I would more concentrate after that. So how that trend you have observed in the students of taking up economics as a main subject, and then, you know, uh, even if they're opting for PCM in their 11th, 12th, still they're considering as an economics of their subject. So how the trend you have seen, is there any change of the trend amongst the students that you have able to observe?
Yeah, sure. So Shubham, again, I can speak for Delhi University since I'm on the admission teams as well. So I can speak to you with respect to data that we have. Now, if you see till 2019 or till 2021, when the board marks were being used to take admissions in Delhi University and for economics courses, any particular student who did not have economics in class 12, first of all, maths was anyways compulsory. You need to study maths. Without maths, you can't take eco-honors. Now,
Okay.
earlier, if you have not studied economics as a discipline in class 12, then we used to deduct 2.5%. Now we already know what the percentage, all the percentage have shot through the roof in the last few years. So in fact, even someone would have had 100% marks in class 12 would still not be eligible for the best college because of that 2.5% deduction for not studying economics. And that's why we saw that with the data of schools that we have, we saw that a number of schools were offering PCM plus economics as an option because students wanted to diversify their portfolio. They wanted that we would like to have a crack at JE. If JE doesn't work, then we can probably go for economics honors, which is also a very reputed course. So or physics honors. So this usually used to be the route for a science PCM student. But what the CUET has done and what the NEP has done is that it has introduced this multidisciplinary, and then it has basically the silos of subjects have been removed now. Now, what we have that we are perfectly okay with a student who has PCM as an option with a background with English as a language and any subject, be it physical education. So all we require is that you should have studied one language and mathematics. Along with that, any two subjects will do. And that is where the planning on part of the students as well as their parents is very important. So I've been guiding a lot of parents on how to strategize their CUET. Because see, if you're taking, say, suppose you're taking physics, chemistry, and maths along with English, all these 4 papers are tough. 3 papers you are already doing for JE, but English anyways you have to do. But I would suggest that take physical education as a 5th option, or take another 6th option in both your class 12 as well as in CUET, which is a scoring paper where those marks can be added. So in economics, what we require is one mathematics subject in CUET, second a language, preferably English, and 2 any other subjects. So the trend that we have seen in the last year, if I say, because we have had only one round of CUET admissions, that was in 2022. We saw a lot of science students getting into economics honors. And in fact, as I told you, the data suggests that a lot of science students do really well. Now, to bring to your point that if I compare two students, one with a mathematical background and one with a not so mathematical background, say a commerce student with a PCM student, if you see the career trajectory of these students, you will invariably see that a PCM student is doing well. And in fact, if you see all the major good, policymakers, see D. Subbarao, the former governor of RBI, Raghuram Rajan, these are all engineers, by the way, and they went into they did a master's and a PhD in economics. So we have sufficient amount of data with us, which shows that physics with maths with economics does tremendously well. And you'll see a lot of concepts of physics a lot of concepts in economics are actually imported from physics. You see equilibrium. There's nothing called equilibrium in social sciences. It's a word that we've imported. It's a pure physics word that we've imported from physics. So these applications of physics and maths will help a lot, along with statistics. So statistics is a new area that we are coming into. So this is where the career. This is where the students can plan their career. And just one last point that there's one last point that I wanted to add, is that now you have this option of major and minor in graduation. So students would do really well if they take up economics as their major and mathematics or statistics as their minor. That would again help their career in number of ways in terms of the options that will open up at a later stage of life.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Okay, so right after the graduations, once they have a graduations, the students is open up whether they wanted to opt for the, they wanted to go for the government exam or they wanted to try for the corporate sectors. Coming up to you, Asawari ma'am. So once a student is graduated from their graduation colleges, they come up, they have economics majors they have done. Now, what as a subject or trend you have seen that what government job prospects they look for, or what queries you get maybe from the economic student that they wanted to know about these government exams. Is the economics compulsory? Or generally the question comes that what are the subjects which it become? So yeah.
Okay, I thought that there's some disturbance, but it's I think fine. All right. So hello everyone. I hope that my voice is being heard and noted as well, because there might be a few things that may slip from my speech, which would be important for these young boys and girls. So when we talk about government sector, usually it's a very underrated sector because we are into hyper globalization and we are into privatization. So a perfect graduate or a postgraduate would look into the corporate sector, which is absolutely great. But then, of course, if we want further more avenues and we want to understand that are there any government sector opportunities as well for the economics students? So yes, there are, and they're quite lucrative as well. If we talk about the top level organizations or the top level opportunities that economics grads and postgrads would have, I would preferably say postgrads, because most of these opportunities are open for people who are postgraduated in economics, finance, and similar fields, right? Because economics, finance, these are the fields of specialization and would require some kind of technical and theoretical knowledge and skill and training, and which is why post-graduation is something which is most suitable. So whether you are an MA Economics or MSc Economics or MBE, which is Masters in Business Economics, right? Or any other field of economics and finance, where at least 50% of whatever syllabus that you have read in post-graduation is inclined towards it, will make you compatible to any of these jobs. Now, what are these jobs? The very first one is by UPSC. Okay. Now, UPSC, if anyone hears about UPSC, they would run after becoming an IAS officer, right? And because that is the one field which students know about and students have been preparing about. But there is also one very elite and very specialized opportunity by UPSC specifically for economics postgrads, which is the Indian Economic Services. And we have seen since past 5 years, the trend has been increasing. More and more students are getting aware about it. The very peculiar point of Indian Economic Services exam is that you can attempt it n number of times. Like whenever it would there would be an opportunity, you can attempt it till you are the age of 30, less than 30, right? So till you're 30, you can actually give the examination. So if you're early in your post graduation, it makes a good sense that you have a lot of attempts. There is nothing like, your attempt will be lost or you cannot prepare for this examination. It's not like that. So this is an examination wherein most potential has been, given by the government sector. And students should reach out for availing more information, more knowledge on such, because it's a particular job in the finance ministry, in the economic affairs, within different departments. It's not actually restricted to a specific department, because economics has to do with everything. So every sector that will deal with economic planning will deal with this particular department, and the director of that department will be one of the Indian Economic Service officer, right? So that's something. Then again, if we talk about the banking sector, which is also one of the elite sectors, even for the corporate job also, uh, when we talk about the government sector opportunity, there is the Reserve Bank of India opportunity for the Department of Economic Policy and Research, which is DEPR. Okay, and there's also DSIM. So, like Mr. Siddharth just had mentioned that you as an economics aspirant have to actually know that training in mathematics is also very important, and I believe that he's absolutely right, because we have seen that trend that students who crack CUET examination and are placed in vivid universities who accept the score are actually much at par to such examinations. They're like level-headed with the syllabus at least. Okay, of course they require a lot of training after that, but at least they know the syllabus, they know the concepts, they have like gotten acquainted with the words and terminologies. So it comes handy for students like that. But yes, RBI DEPR, RBI DSIM are also very good opportunities for statistics and economics postgraduates in the government sector. Then, if now there is a very, it's like a meme because now we are in the meme culture. So I can definitely say that's a very much meme that, if kuch nahi hoga, to teacher ban jana. You know, it was it was actually a stance for a generation or maybe two generations ago, because there was a style of teaching and there was a style of imparting knowledge. But now as we move ahead and we are into AI and we are into future, Gen Z, what they're going to what's the future going to contain, we need to look into education as well as something that has to be remoduled and remodified, and which is why research and teaching are also one of the prime potential opportunities offered by government, which of course you need to crack either UGC net examination along with JRF to get the research fellowship, and side by side do the research. You can do your research in any of the IITs also. Now the GATE examination, which was just like restricted to engineering background students, is now opened up to humanities also. So now economics enthusiasts can go for GATE economics, they can go for IIT JAM, which will open up doors and windows of the IITs and NITs for such enthusiasts, and we can, go for some integrated program doing BSc, MSc along with PhD or something like that. So then again, like you were saying that the future may what's the scope of economics. So I'm trying to tell you and actually all the students that this is how the opportunities are building up, because now we are into more of such situations where economics will come handy. It will be something like it's not actually a pure social science also, because it uses a lot of principles and laws and mathematics and statistics. So it's an applied form of abstract knowledge, and which is why the fields are open. So basically these are the three very important fields wherein the government sector actually provides a lot of scope. Then of course then there are tier 2 opportunities which are as lucrative. Students can opt for something like, again, a UPSC examination, targeting UPSC examination with economics optional. There have been past year toppers since a lot of long years who have given good results, and actually it just depends upon your perspective and how you're comfortable in a specific optional subject. So that's there. Then a UPSC also gives potential candidates a chance to be IRS, which is Indian Revenue Services Officer, which is also a lot to do with economics field. So it's actually, there are a lot of tier 1 and tier 2 opportunities also which are there available with the government sector. And finally, if I talk about finance segment, then SEBI, NABARD, different you can say scheduled banks in India have hold the position of specialist officer. So specialist officer एक वो officer होता है who has specialization and skill and training, who can plan for, make strategies for the institution, and which is why a specialist officer can be anybody. There are different streams, out of which one very important one is economics. So often, we tell our students as well that initially for any business, any institution, any organization, there were three fields which are very important. Chartered accountant hona chahiye. There has to be some legal person there has to be there, and there has to be, some person who executes everything. And now we also know that there's some person who also should be there to do the economic planning, strategizing, asset management. All of these roles are also, for the economics enthusiast. So yeah, that's about the whole spectrum.
Yeah, so that we can, we can infer from you and from Rathore sir that the graph has been increasing. The trend of the subject as an economics has been increasing. I would shift to Sohini ma'am and would like to listen. So now, if you have CVs which have economics graduate or postgraduate, so when you go ahead as a subject trend, how it has been shifted in the corporates as you have been into an HR and you have been shortlisting a lot of CVs in the corporate. So economics, when you see in a CV how it has been, are they like they are very lucrative, they know a lot of stuffs in their academic years, be a graduate or postgraduate. So please let me or acknowledge the audience in me that how has been the trend of this subject shifted from past years to now.
Sure. Thanks. And first of all, Shubham, thanks for Shubham and the St. Xavier's Institute for having me here. I mean, I'm really excited. It's not every day now that I get an opportunity to interact with students per se, right? It has been a while when I was part of this role, when I was having, supporting campus recruitment. That's when, that is something I used to have. But unlike my co-panelists who I understand have regular interaction with students, for me that has not been the case. So yeah, it is quite a different experience. Before I get into your answer, I would like to say that yes, I am into human resources for last close to 13 years, but I am an economics graduate myself. I passed out my graduation in economics from the esteemed Jadavpur University of West Bengal. So yes, I mean, so a live example sitting in front of you, right? How this subject really is able to, kind of foray you into a career which is not, totally into completely into hard and fast into economics. However, my co-panelists have already highlighted this, that economics being a social science, but when we think about the subject, and whoever, all of you who have been studying this subject would appreciate the fact that it has aspects of science, it has aspects of arts, it has aspects of political science, it is also aspects of psychology, right? So it is, when we do consumer behavior, game theory and all of that, so we do a lot of psychology, how human minds think, what impacts human behavior and so on and so forth. So while you study this subject, right, your mind is trained into bringing in various aspects of real life, and that gives you a very analytical outlook. And I think that's what really sets an economics graduate apart from somebody who would have done any other subject. What I have seen in my career is also, while I was training, I had economics from about my class 9, 10, 11, 12, then my graduation. And what I understand is that, I have, with this subject, I have got an opportunity to look at data very differently. And in today's corporate world, I will stick to corporate because my experience is far removed from academics or government sector as such. I've been in corporates throughout, and knowing your data well and knowing your business well, these are the two things which, irrespective of what role you are, right? That is the name of the game. You have to do these things well, whether you are in human resources or in finance or in consulting or in research or anything of that sort, right? So from that perspective, yes, when we see CV of somebody with an economics background, that understanding is definitely there, that that student will be able to look at a scenario from various aspects, right? And of course be able to analyze the situation better, so that gives an upper hand. And along with that comes expectations also, right? So we will definitely we have that expectation also, that that particular student who is our potential talent in the corporate world will be able to bring in that value add. So yes, I think trend per se, economics, at least in the last 15 years, I would say, has always been uh, a subject which is hot, unless you really want to get into engineering or the physics, chemistry, maths related careers. Economics, statistics has always been a career of choice. But over the years, as we have seen how are the various opportunities, right? The various fields in which, especially when this entire career of management has come in such a big way, right? That you will get into MBAs, and then you proceed into career of your choice, into administration, into leadership roles. The trend has only been an upward trend, I would say. So all of you who are studying economics, I would like to, really congratulate you. You have made a good decision, and I'm sure future is bright.
Great. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So I would follow up to question to you and will follow to other speakers the same question. So if each, like all the three speakers, quickly let me know in pointers maybe, like what are the career prospects for the as an economics graduate or postgraduate? B, what skills are the hot skills in today's time, and how, as an economic student, they can improve and start working on this? So, if I talk about in the corporate structure, what are the job prospects which are available for an economics graduate and postgraduate? B, what are the skills which they required? So, if someone like that, if I'm a postgraduate student, I wanted to start my corporate journey. So, what job profiles that I can look for, and what skills should I have on a CV so that I'll be a job ready in this competitive market. Similarly, for the Asawari ma'am, if I talk about if I'm a postgraduate economic student, what skills or what subjects, like as you said that mathematics is important, and you mention a various job opportunities in the uh, government sector. So what skills and what are the future prospects that if a economics postgraduate wanted to start, so how they can start even if they're graduate or postgraduate students? Over to you, Sohini ma'am. Yeah.
Sure. So I would. This is just follow up from where I ended my last answer, right? So as I said, uh, from a career standpoint, right, whether you want to move into research or you want to get into management, administration, the MBA line of careers, or whether you want to go into consulting, of course, the BFSI industry, like your entire banking, insurance, various non-banking financial institutions, all of these careers are open if you are having a background of economics. For example, like I just quoted my example. You can just look at me, that I completed my graduation, I completed my MBA, and then I moved into a career in human resources. And let me tell you, there is no reason for any of you to think that I'm into a career which is very far removed from the education which I had in my graduation. I feel strongly that the foundation which I got from my knowledge in economics is something which I apply, maybe not in terms of the principles in the very detailed theory, but the basic idea, the basic the forte which I have in terms of data, the forte which I have in terms of analytics is something which I applied in day out. And so entire of any kind of career option is really open to you if you are in this with this background. So yeah, so that's there. And then again, right, when you if you want to pursue MBA, once you get into MBA, first year is a general management, which all of you have to do. Economics is one of the subjects even in management, right? So you see, if you want to go into MBA, one of your papers will be, in fact, I got a upper hand. In fact, I remember when I was doing my management, I used to teach my friends because some of them were new to economics as a subject. And so and that gave me an upper hand, and at least one paper was kind of taken care of, right, for me the first year. And then in the second year, depending upon at that time, you are slightly more mature to understand your interest, your strengths. So at the time, you can take a call whether you want to go to finance or supply chain or human resources or marketing or any other line. So that in itself, from MBA itself, you have like a plethora of opportunities, career options you can move into. When it comes to skills, right? I already mentioned that the way you look at data and analytics, right? Your ability to look at data, and your knack in terms of working with data is definitely a skill which will take you places. And also the understanding of business, because that is whether you are in human resources or any other personal job per se, right? Any other role. When you know the business well, you are able to build that relationship with your business stakeholders because you are able to talk that business language. So it's very important that you understand what is happening around you, what is the economic scenario, what is happening in your organization per se, you know, wherever you want to get in. So couple of skills, and finally, 2, 3 other skills which I wanted to share with all of you. One, which may not you may not have a direct exposure while you're doing your graduation, but start building these skills to be able to really stand out in corporate world. One would be, when I already spoke about data, so that is your understanding of data, but start working on your skills to be able to present data in a very meaningful way, right? You may know a lot, or you may have a lot of data with you, but how you present it in form of a story board, in form of presentation, whether you are presenting something on a slide or in Excel, or even just talking about it, right? So that is a skill you should really start working, like how you
Right.
articulate what you want to project. Number two is, when you step into your corporate world, right, have a very flexible mind and open mind. Don't have too many baggages that, okay, I don't want to do this, that is bad, this is good, this is my career, I'll not do this, I'll not learn this. So, be very flexible, open, humble, all of these skills, these are very innate to all of us, but we should be really prepared for all of these softer aspects, softer skills as well, as we prepare for our careers.
Great, great, great. So yeah. So Sohini ma'am, one of the questions, and we have a little time crunch, I would request. So if you can let me know that how, so as a graduation or post-graduation, how's the grades of the 10th, 12th graduation and post-graduation matter as a purpose of shortlisting? Does they matter, or like, especially the percentage of 12th, people are generally afraid, oh, we have little less percentage, maybe are we able to shortlist or not?
So, to be very honest, and I am happy to burst the myth over here, right? If there is a certain cutoff percentage in certain organizations, that of course you have to say it's a 60% cutoff. I'm giving you an example, and you have that score, right? Then what scores you have in your 10, 11, 12th really does not matter. It is your performance in the interview, it is your knowledge of the subject. I mean, having said that, I would not encourage you not to really get good scores. I mean, please go ahead and get that, because at the end of the day, you always know if there are two students who have performed exactly the same way, exactly, they've got the same scores in the interview. Probably your scores in your school would be one of the matrices to be able to differentiate you, maybe like a tiebreaker. But prima facie, when I choose somebody for my team, I will not. And when you once start your career, you will not even be asked your marks. Right? That will not be even a
Sure.
question. As long as you meet that basic cutoff marks, if there is a 60% cutoff or something, that's it.
Right.
So
So yeah, to all the audience who had these questions, it does not matter as much as long. So the basic is 60% that's being a cutoff across the organization, but that
60%
doesn't mean
is an
we don't.
example I gave you.
But yeah,
Different organizations or institutes may have different cutoffs, but and I would also not want to be construed to be saying that it does not matter, but don't be disheartened if you have a couple of percentages less. Don't think that your job prospects go down. It is not proportional. Your career, what you do in your career, what job you land is not proportional to how much marks you have in your.
sure. Yeah. Quickly, Asawari ma'am, if you can tell us, so if a postgraduate or graduate wanted to start their government job, they wanted to start their preparations. So is there any specific skill set or is there any specific knowledge which they require? If you can give us a 2 pointers, if yes, these are important, these are okay.
To this
Uh,
perspective. Hello?
yeah,
Am I
you're audible. Yeah, you're audible.
okay? Yeah. Um, One very important thing that a student should know is post graduation is that phase of your life where you have to specialize in at least one subject, at least one. There can be more than one. So graduation was all the time where was like gala time of your life where you were out of your school and experiencing everything. But post graduation is something that you have to take very seriously. Many students excel in all the categories or all the subjects that they have. Many do not. They choose, and it's very smart that you choose a few subjects that you have to pick. Whether I'll tell you this because when people come into our organization, and the selection process, everything happens. When we usually ask them, okay, tell us about your subject in economics. What's your specialization, or what would you like to get interviewed on? And they would be like, micro, macro. And I'm like, okay, economics is not just about micro and macro. We have moved ahead in industrial economics, environmental economics, behavioral economics, agriculture, law, labor laws, financial, banking sector. I mean, there has to be something that you have learned in those 2 years. So, very first thing, whether you aim for a government sector economics opportunity or a private sector opportunity, like an analyst or asset manager or anything like that, make sure that you are having that one subject. It's like choosing your spouse. It will be for your life. Either you'll be cursed about it or you will be lauded about it. So I think that's something that you have to know. Second important aspect is whether economics will not be hyper involved in your career prospect maybe later, or will be like, for example, if you choose data science, it will have more amount of statistics and research and data analyzing. But if you choose something like teaching, or if you choose something like research on behavioral economics, it will only have research part or statistical part, only some selected part. So, which is why, while you are in your final year of post graduation, make wise choices and be more informed. Do not make uninformed decisions. Unwise decisions will often come from being uninformed or misinformed. कि तूने क्या लिया अच्छा तूने क्या लिया ये अच्छा okay. this is not how you treat your career, your life. So I think that is these are the two very, very basic and very, very fundamental points for all you students out here, because we as speakers would just orient you, like you have to take the inputs actually, right? So these are the two things that you have to keep in mind. And then of course, doors are open, whether you go for a government sector opportunity or a private sector opportunity. And like Miss Sohini just mentioned some very important soft skills. I hope that you all have, written it down somewhere, noted it nicely, because soft skills matter a lot. How you present yourself, what trainings you have taken, course, certificates would not matter as much as how you present yourself would matter in an interview. How you can tell about your skill in an interview would matter. So, work on yourself in your post graduation. That's the bottom line.
Thank you so much. Coming up to Rathore, so there's a one hot question which is coming from the audience, that suppose if I'm a non-math background student, can I pursue the economic honors? Why is it? Because some university, if I talk about not as in Delhi University, suppose Rajasthan University, they say that math is not such a compulsory subject to do economic honors. So as in non-math students, can I pursue economic honors, or can I look my future in economic honors? If we can quickly let me know, so that yeah.
Shubham, I think you can do different universities have different benchmarks with respect to whether they can pursue bachelor's in economics with mathematics or without mathematics. But I mean, if you just want to do a vanilla graduation in economics, then that's fair enough. But what about just a graduate, right? These days, a graduate will not make a cut. You need to have some kind of specialization. So there you would see mathematics play a role. In fact, even if you're preparing for civil services, now let me give you data from Labasna. I've taught two batches there. The 96th FC, which was the IS officers, all these civil services officers of 2021 batch, and the 97th FC, which was 22 batch. Now, I did a survey there that how many engineers are there. So there are around 450 officers that are there for the foundation course, which includes all these services. And apparently for civil services, it's more of a vogue in humanities. A lot of humanities students want to go for civil services. They take arts in class 12th, and then they take whatever subject they want to take in graduation, and then prepare for civil services. But if you see the data suggests that 80% of the folks who are getting into the selection are engineers. 80% of them. And even non-engineering, you will see a lot of them coming from a mathematical background. So which again shows that see, you can't run away with this subject. And if you want a career in economics, you should be very well versed with mathematics. Be it any career. See, it's a means to an end. Economics, you don't want to do economics for the sake of it. It's a means to an end. And see, then reconcile that end to what you want to do. And just to broaden what the other speakers have talked about, and your question initially was that how do you see? I mean, what career options that you see? I think most of the world, in my perspective, gets it wrong that you kind of plan that I'll do eco honors first, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do that. I think the time in graduation is to reflect back on what do you want to do in your career? What do you exactly want in your career? What are your life goals? So for example, if your life goal is, say, money and financial security, then you should think about if that is more important for you. If you understand that this is where I want to build my career, I want money, I want financial security throughout my life, then you should look at careers like banking. You can look careers as an economist, a corporate economist, or in analytics. But if you want social recognition, you want to contribute in nation building, then civil services, RBI, or public policy becomes very important. And then if you want freedom of your time, you want complete freedom of what you want to do, then you can get into startups, you can do research, then you can get into teaching. So do a kind of in game theory, we call this as backward induction game. So you do that backward induction and then optimize your career. And finally, with respect to skill sets, since you have asked a couple of your members, a couple of speakers about the skill sets, I think if you want to really excel in life, then graduation is the time when you have to become the best version of yourself. How do you become the best version of yourself is that you have to read a lot. Not just your course, you have to be a well-aware individual, irrespective of the college that you are in. You might be in a say a B plus college. You can compete with someone who is in an A plus college if you are in those 3 to 4 years. If you're well read, read non-fiction, do a lot of internships. So, for example, if you want to get into civil services, and if you're not very sure, why don't you do a LAMP fellowship? Why don't you get into these good governance programs of different states and see how a civil servant works? If you want to get into data analytics, try and see, try to seek some certifications, try to learn try to learn Python, Tableau, and then try to seek internships, see how that industry works. So, and do a lot of networking. So if you do all of this, then I think you're building the best skill sets. And last point is that a graduation without extracurriculars is a waste graduation, be it any career option that you take. Even if you go for civil services, there is a section in the interview which is called where you have your detailed application form, which talks about your interest in extracurriculars. I've seen a lot of aspirants who have nothing there, and that is where they struggle. So last year, when I was training some students for Indian Economic Services, I told them that, see, this is the one area that you need to work on your DAF. Unless you work on this aspect of your life, you will not score really good marks. And they heeded to this, and out of those 9 students, 6 of them cleared. It's because of the fact that they had a good personality. It's not just about academics. That concept of neuroplasticity, expand the horizon of your brain, push your brain as far as you can, and then things will automatically come to you.
Sure, sir. That would really help to our audience as well as me. So one question to Asawari ma'am. If a student wants to start their preparation, like they wanted to start their preparation either for IAS or UPS, what will be the suitable time? Does they start right from the second year of the graduation, or they wanted to do the post-graduation, they can even start up their post-graduation? So what will be the suitable time, if you can suggest key? I wanted to prepare for IAS and how to start that preparation.
Okay. There are 2 things. Indian Economic Services by UPSC is an examination which requires your eligibility of post-graduation in economics field. Okay. So at least 50% of the syllabus, whatever you choose as a specialization, has to be economics. And it's required. So which is why if you are aspiring for Indian Economic Services, start from your first day of post-graduation. We often say to the students, just take the printout of your syllabus, just take the printout of Indian Economic Service syllabus and just match. The very first thing that you do is like match things. Okay, this, just tick. Okay, that's your first step, initial step. So that you actually step into the world of Indian Economic Services and what it contains and what it wants you to implement. Then similarly for RBI examination also, because RBI is again a higher level examination. So graduation, and if you again aspire for RBI, DEPR or DSIM examination, not the grade B general after graduation also students can give up any stream, but if you are going for specialized DEPR or DSIM, then you have to go for post graduation in field of economics or finance, at least 50% of the syllabus. The paper pattern has changed this year itself, so now again there's a lot of scope into this opportunity as well, and they have defined the syllabus as well. So now the students can again match the syllabus with their own syllabus of post-graduation and start preparing. Okay, the very first key to prepare is syllabus. Syllabus is always the king. And which is why if you understand the syllabus properly, you will know at what extent you have to go. Okay, many times students pile on books and study material and notes and many things like that, and do not fulfill any, do not accomplish to read any of that. So the very first thing that you need to know is make sure that whatever selected material, selected references you have been given in the syllabus of that examination, because they do in the official websites, just stick on to that, and that will be all. So that's for those 2 examinations. For IAS aspirants who are aspirants for administrative services and want to go with economics optional, they should start a little early, because it's IELTS examination has a certain age limitation. Then IELTS examination also, if you start early, there are a lot of you know, life aspirations you can fulfill in your early stage, right? So which is why it's a totally different opportunity, totally different ball game. Administrative services also is like different than economic services. So which is why, again, if you're aspiring for that, then start early, since 12th standard, like just Rathore, Mr. Rathore said that, you know, you have to look into your graduation. What are the things that are there in your palette, and suit yourself accordingly. So yeah, then for that examination, you have to start early. And
Great, great.
yeah, that's I think about all of similar examinations.
Great, great, great. Okay. So I take two more question. One question from Rathore sir and one question from Sohini ma'am. So Sohini ma'am, there is one question from an audience that he is currently pursuing BA Economic Honors, and he's interested in data analytics, but he has not done a formal postgraduate, but a diploma in data analytics. So in the current times, we have a 1-year PG diplomas in data analytics, data science. Does they make them a job ready? If not, then which field of masters will be good for that candidate?
Yeah, I mean, it ideally should be job ready. The diploma course that that person has taken up. Uh, but apart from that, also, if there, I mean, depends how confident the person feels in that subject, right? But ideally, the diploma also makes them eligible, so to speak. There is no harm. And apart from that, there are several other programs also, who are independent bodies, institutes who are training you in data analytics. Analytics has kind of become quite diluted when it comes to real real education as such. There are so many institutes who's providing certifications, etc., in data analytics. So depending upon what exactly the course material is, right, the person should choose judiciously. But having said that, a lot of it will evolve once the person really gets into the micro panelist, Mr. Siddharth pointed out about internships. Grab those opportunities if you have interest in data analytics. You know, a lot of this, instead of doing certifications, a lot of this you really get uh, hands-on knowledge once you get your hands dirty, once you really understand what is happening in the corporate world in terms of data analytics. So it seems a fancy word, but it often it's data. When we say analytics, it's not only about presenting data, it's not only analysis. Analytics is one step further. Analytics is when
Right,
you forecast, right? When
right,
you have an action plan, that's when the entire cycle of analytics gets complete. It's not only restricted to analysis, right? So so that way, it is something which you, there's a lot of on the job learning also which you have to do.
right.
A certification may provide you only a part of the knowledge and kind of make you eligible for the job, so to speak. But when you really need to excel in it, it is, you have to get your hands dirty.
Right.
That's what my view is.
Right, right. Thank you so much. Okay, one last but not the least question to the Rathore sir. So you discussed that a graduation is a phase where a student can explore a lot of extracurricular and even internship opportunities. So as a professor, how would you give us or acknowledge the students if they wanted to go and explore the research internships in things government organization, so how they can apply, and like what are the skills which these organization, think tanks and government organization are looking for in a graduate student?
Shubham, could you repeat the question? Your voice cracked in between. I think there was a connection issue.
Okay, am I audible now?
Your voice is cracking a little.
Hello.
For me, or is it for everyone? Okay, yeah, please. Now it's
Sure. So I was, hello, am I audible now, sir?
yes, you are audible now.
Great. So I was just asking you, sir, if you can quickly touch upon the think tank and government organization internship opportunities which are available for the graduate student. So you said that this is a phase where a student should, explore a lot in terms of extracurricular or in terms of the internship opportunities. So how is the prospects, internship prospects in the think tanks, or as a matter of fact, the job prospects for the think tanks and government organizations?
So see, there are a lot of opportunities these days that are open. In fact, a lot of ministries have come up with internship options for even graduate students. For example, RBI has a program for this. Niti Aayog has an option for this. And I mean, I have this privilege that I keep recommending students to Niti Aayog because a lot of my economic services students are there. But one thing that we see, I mean, when I recommend someone to a particular institute or to a particular place, then they look for, again, what kind of skill sets that a person brings. Now, the skill sets could be something like data orientation. You can have plain, I mean, the field of data science is also huge. You have data visualization where you can have Tableau and Power BI. You can learn all of them through YouTube. I have learned them through YouTube. So and most of them are free software, especially for students. You can just drop in a mail to Tableau and they'll give you a 2-year or 1-year subscription for that particular thing. Then Python is an open source language. R is an open source language. There are numerous resources available on the web, on Coursera, on EDX, where for a penny you can do all of these things. At least you can start doing them. And say presentation. So one of the major skills that students have to deal with in their graduation is presentation skills. So for those presentation skills, you can always look up to, again, these open sources, that how to make good presentations, how to structure data well, how to structure your presentation. I've seen a lot of presentations. So this is why we see students come up with assignments and their presentations are loaded with only text and text. So that is not how you present yourself. Finally, I mean, if you want to look for these opportunities, you need to track different ministries. So I would suggest make an Excel sheet where you have a tracker where you keep all these internship opportunities by different ministries. And then you also maintain, I've seen students in this age having a proper Excel sheet for their LinkedIn connections, where they have LinkedIn Gold with them, LinkedIn the premium version, and they're reaching out to people for internship opportunities. And if you want to take internship opportunities in research, you can always do that cold mail strategy that never fails. So even if you are dropping 100 mails and even if 2 people reply, I mean, you'll definitely get a call back. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for, and if that works well, then good for you. So I would say that do this kind of an analysis, and in these 3 years or 4 years, now you have this 4-year version, at least have in your summer break, have this kind of an orientation in your career.
Great. Thank you so much, Rathore sir, Asawari ma'am, and Sohini ma'am. That was a great session. I'm sure there are a lot of takeaways for the students and even for me for this session. I would thank the Department of Economics and Xavier's College for organizing such sessions so that it gives a quick awareness about what the economics as a subject is, what are the job prospects of this. I would request the audience if they can turn up their cameras so that we can quickly have a quick screen or picture, so that would be set as a memory for all of us. Audience, can we have a camera on? A humble request. Can I have more cameras on quickly? Yeah, come on, guys. 1 more minute. Let's click a picture. Then we are done with the session. I would ask the organizer if they can quickly click a picture and give us a heads up that we are good to go. Great. Okay, are we having more cameras? Okay, no worries. Thank you so much, Siddharth sir, Savi ma'am, Sohini ma'am, for taking out your precious time with us and acknowledge all of us with your great knowledge. It was wonderful moderating this session. Thank you so much, audience, for joining us. One more tip for all of you, that we have a feedback form in the chat section. Please do fill and let us know if you need any more such sessions to coming up. And thank you so much, organizers, for having all of us for the session. Thank you so much. And yeah,